What is up guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are out here putting in work on the T18. We're finally going to get this thing done. First things first though, we need to pull out the diff because we're going to be upgrading this diff. So not only does this car have a BMW engine in it, even though it's a Toyota, but we're also going to be putting a Nissan diff in it. So this is a full-on Frankenstein build. Here's the diff that will be going in it. It is out of an R31 Skyline, because the diffs that come in these T18s are super piddly and would not withstand the extra torque that this BMW engine is going to be putting into the rear end of this car. So first things first, we need to pull the diff out. Quick disclaimer, I've never ever done this kind of swap before. It entails pulling obviously the stock diff out, cutting all the brackets off it, and cutting all the brackets off the Nissan diff so it's all clean, and then welding the brackets from the T18 diff onto the Nissan diff, because this is not just a diff center, but these are a standalone unit, so they're solid, full solid diff. The center doesn't come out like they usually do in the newer cars. It's all one piece. So, and we also have to weld that diff because it's an open diff and we can't do skids with open diffs. But first, let us take the diff out of this car. I don't actually know how it's done, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Let's get it done. Alrighty, so these diffs are held in, they're a 4-link diff, so they're held in via a couple of, by 4 links basically. That's why it's called a 4-link. But there's one link here down the bottom, same on the other side, and that's the 4 links, and then they're held in, there's also attached by the panhard rod here, so we have to unbolt those, and then the diff, I think, should just kind of slide out if we're lucky. Alright, we got the diff out and Chunga arrived, which means it's time for Mexican. That's the dance we do when we want to eat Mexican. So as you guys can see, this is the reason that we're putting this diff in, because it's so much physically bigger and therefore stronger than this piddly little thing. Look at it, they're tiny. Man, alright, that's enough for tonight. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Woo! What up, what up, what up? So we're here, it's a beautiful day. Finally we get some sunlight to work on the car. We're not working on it at night, which is awesome. So we've got our diff. We're going to start measuring things so that we can go ahead and cut the brackets off. We'll take these wheels off. Let's measure both diffs. I want to see how much wider the R31 diff is than the T18 diff, because I love my Stance Boys setup. Yeah, then we'll go ahead and start stripping the diff, and then we have to cut everything off the other diff that we have over here as well. So a little bit of grinding to do, and I'll let you guys in on a little secret. I don't really like grinding that much, it sucks, but something that we've got to do when we build cars, so it is what it is. But let's get these wheels off this diff so we can get to work. Lol. Open diff life. Alright, so we've got to cut the spring perch off, shock mounts off, and the 4-link mounts off, and the panhard rod mounts off. But before we can get cutting, I need to measure everything so that when I weld it to the new diff, it's all in the right place. Okay, so the measurements are done. We've got them down in our notes, in our phone. It's actually quite confusing. I've never done this before, and this is definitely not my strong suit in terms of measuring and cutting and stuff like this, so there's always a first time for everything. Alright, we're halfway done and I've run out of grinder discs, so I need to run down to the hardware store and grab some more, as well as a couple other things, but it's actually quite easy. Obviously we've got the spring perch off and one of the 4-link mounts, almost done with another one. yeah, super easy. Just a slightly time consuming, but not difficult. Very stoked on this. This is just going to make the car super reliable, have a bulletproof rear end, which is what you want when you're drifting. This car is going to be a little weapon. I'm stoked. Hello, Eva.
2 hours later.
All she wants to do all the time is just play with the ball. You don't even love me, do you? Alright, so we are back from the hardware store. We've got ourselves some new grinding discs, some black paint so that we can paint the diff once it's done, and some fiberglass bog, but that's not for this car, that's for the 280 ZX. Anyway, let's get back to grinding so that we can start welding. Alright, that is one diff done. All the mounts are cut off. I got these new Makita blades, and they're way better than the blades I was using. I went through like 2 blades straight away with the other ones. They were just some random brand on one mount, and this one blade did all of the rest of the mounts, so that's pretty awesome. That is all we need from this diff now, so I can move this diff and bring the R31 diff in, and then I can chop everything off the R31 diff. I need to unbolt a bunch of stuff off it and then clean it up and then start tacking this stuff on and see where we get to. Yep, alright, that stuff's gone. Time to get cutting.
Evolutionary process going on, but mankind won't be destroyed.
We're about halfway through now. This bracket was definitely the hardest to get off. It was welded in like a million places, but we get it. So yeah, 3 more brackets, and then we can test fit the other stuff. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is all the brackets cut off our diff. Obviously still got some tidying up to do, but now I can go ahead and start kind of placing things where I think they should go. Maybe this section right now is the difference between whether the diff is straight and, you know, centered versus whether it is off or not based on my measurements. So let's get this part right. So I've got the spring perch sitting on top and the top 4-link bracket sitting on top as well. So I'm going to go ahead and tack those on, double check the measurements, and then weld them up. And then what I'm going to do is put the diff into the car with only the top 4 links on at the moment, hook those up, then jack the car up, and then I'll weld the bottom 4-link brackets on in the car so that I know that I've got it perfect, because if I do all 4 of them here and any of the measurements are off, I feel like we're going to be in a bad space. So better to be safe than sorry, I reckon. Alright, so everything's tacked. I've triple checked the measurements. So now we're going to go ahead and weld them up completely, and then we're going to put the wheels on the diff, which makes it easier to roll under the car. Roll it under the car and fit it up, and then kind of hopefully see how it all looks, which is pretty rad. Apart from fitting the actual engine, this was definitely one of the bigger jobs to get done, so once it's finished I will be very stoked. But yeah, final welds, let's do this. Alright, that's the top part of our diff done, all welded up. I'm hungry, so I'm going to let it cool down. I'm going to go eat some food. We are making some major progress on this thing, and I'm stoked. One thing you have to remember, don't weld with your phone sitting under the welder, because it'll smash the screen and you'll get weld metal all embedded in your iPhone screen. So that's an idiot move by me. I had some food, I'm feeling good. It's time to clear all this crap out of the way and test fit the diff and see if my calculations, which I'm definitely probably sure are wrong, were right. Fingers crossed. Oh man, I'm nervous. Alright, so the mounts are in, the 4 links are mounted, which is pretty cool in their brackets, but unfortunately where I put it in, the bottom 4 links are sitting above the diff instead of under it, because I'm an idiot and I was too keen to get it in, so I need to undo it again and allow those to slip down, but it fits and my measurements were correct, which is quite amazing. If you guys know me, you'll know that is very impressive, because usually I get things wrong 9 times out of 10, so she's definitely wider, which is exactly what we wanted. Alright, so now we have our lower 4 link where we need it with the brackets, so now we can go ahead and weld those on and take the jack away so that the diff will be fully supported by the 4 links and the shocks, which is really exciting. Alright guys, the R31 diff swap is done. It's taken us all day, but we finally got there, and I'm very stoked with the results. It's come up awesome. As you can see, we now have disc brakes and the T18, which is pretty rad. Got the Max Beating Rods coilovers in there, shout out Max Beating Rods. Yeah, nah, everything is looks perfect. All of the links are in. I haven't got the panhard rod mount welded on yet, but I'll do that tomorrow. But the whole gist of the setup is there. I need to chuck a couple of bolts on and tighten everything up, but the R31 diff is in, so we're going to chuck this wheel on and we're going to lower it down to the ground for the first time with the R31 diff in. I'm just over the moon with the way that this came out. I've never done this before, so first time. We're going to chop these guards up, put some bolt-on flares on, because the wheels now stick out quite a bit more with the R31 diff, which is pretty cool. That's it guys, she's all lowered down. As you can see, the fitment is definitely a bit more aggressive now, but that's exactly what we want, so that's pretty cool. Same fitment both sides, so we know that we got the diff center at least, which is nice. Looks so cool. That's just wicked, eh? Can't believe we got it done. So that's it, we're one step further to having our T18 Frankenstein BMW powered R31 diff T18 ready for the track, which is pretty freaking awesome. This was a massive task that I had to get ticked off the list, and we got it done, which is sick. And then we're going to move on to the engine stuff, including mounting the EG Civic radiator and starting to tidy up the engine bay and get this thing running. I have a loom that's been sent to us by Matt Gresham, which we are going to be fitting, which I'm super stoked about. But just look at that fitment guys. Oh my god, I'm so stoked. This thing is going to look so damn cool. I think I'm going to run 25mm or 15mm spacers on the rear as well with the flares, just to make it really aggressive. I'm also thinking about putting Lambo doors on it just for a freaking laugh. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below. But we're all done for the night. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting the channel. It's growing so fast, so welcome to all the new subscribers. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram at It's Mike Blake, and we will be back with another episode on the T18 and also the 280ZX. We're going to start getting into that as well, so plenty of content to come, but thank you guys for watching. Peace.